That, of course, is the melodious sound of Bobby Caldwell, the subject of the It's the Groove podcast edition for today. Welcome to It's the Groove, the podcast that takes you under the wrapper to uncover the hidden connections in the music we love. I'm Dave, and as usual, I'm joined by the 80s music muse herself, Kelly. How are you today, Kelly?
I'm doing terrific. Looking forward to talking with Mary and Katie today.
Yeah. So we are really excited today to be joined by Bobby Caldwell's wife, Mary, and his daughter, Katie. Hi, Mary and Katie. Welcome to It's the Groove. How are you?
Great. Good. How are you guys?
Okay.
We're doing great. Now, I'm in Northeast Wisconsin, and Kelly, you are located
Toronto.
And Mary and Katie, where are you located right now?
We are in Great Meadows, New Jersey.
Sweet.
So it's way northwest in the woods.
I gotcha.
Oh.
Okay, great. So the topic for today is Bobby Caldwell. Smooth grooves, smoky vocals, a talented multi-instrumentalist, and a legacy that transcends genre. This episode dives into the soulful world of Bobby Caldwell, the singer-songwriter behind the timeless classic, What You Won't Do for Love. From his early days navigating the industry's racial assumptions to his mastery of blue-eyed soul, Caldwell's music defied boundaries and captured hearts across generations. With the help of Mary and Katie, we'll explore his music, both his own performances and the legendary tracks he penned for others, and uncover some hidden gems you might not be aware of.
Okay, Mary, what can you
Hi.
tell us about the recording of What You Won't Do for Love?
Well, although I wasn't present at that time with Bobby, from what he told me, he had been out in Los Angeles, pounding the pavement, trying to get a record deal. And he was all defeated, flew back home to Miami. And his mom, always leave it up to mom, said to him, hey, there's this TK Records up in Hialeah. Why don't you go there? And he literally went there with a brown paper bag of cassette tapes and started playing the cassettes. And they were like, hey, we know you. You had that club hit called House is Rockin' from way back. They used to play it at nightclubs, didn't get radio play. But anyway, they signed him. And he went in the studio, wrote the album, thought he heard the hit on it, which was My Flame. But the management at the label said, we just don't think we hear a hit. Go back, you got a couple days, go in the studio. So under great pressure, he went back in the studio with his buddy Alphonse Kettner, and on guitar, he wrote What You Won't Do with Alphonse. And that was it. And the label gave it a thumbs up, and, that song is still alive and well.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've heard that the iconic horn part was inspired by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you know if Bobby had any relationships with them?
Well, I know he adored them, and back, must have been about 15, 20 years ago, we went to see them in Atlantic City. He had known, God rest his soul, Maurice White, who gave him a kalimba way back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he actually did the kalimba song on his first album. It was short and the only instrumental track Bobby ever did. But yeah, we met those guys. They're lovely and
Mm-hmm.
still sound great.
Oh yeah.
With respect to the horn part on What You Won't Do, I would have to say there are multiple influences there because he was raised, his folks were in showbiz. Um, and the big band era played a huge role. So, that's kind of still a mystery, but I'm sure the old school big bands and Earth, Wind, Chicago all probably had an influence there.
What You Won't Do for Love was released in September 1978 and reached the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100, the Billboard R&B singles charts, and the adult contemporary chart. It has been covered many times and resurfaced in 2014 for a Mitsubishi ad, introducing the song to a new generation of listeners. Famously, the single was pressed in heart-shaped vinyl for Valentine's Day in 1979. Now, Bobby was aided by several musicians on the track, but he performed the lead and backing vocals, keyboards, and bass. Did he ever mention what he most preferred playing?
Guitar. He loved guitar. That was, although he had piano lessons as a child, and the teacher would come over and he was supposed to learn to read music, he played by ear. So he never learned to read music.
Hmm.
So, but he'd play. He could just figure it out. So he did take piano lessons, but when he was about 10 or 11, his daddy bought him a guitar, and that was it. He was like glued to that guitar. That was his favorite.
Okay.
I heard once he said that the era that he grew up, that the cool kids were the guitar players. The cool kids got the girls. The guitar players got the girls. The keyboard player was nice, and drummer, of course, and all that kind of stuff. But it was the guitar player, so that might have been what inspired him as well, right?
And the lead singer.
Yeah,
I'm sure
the
that
whole
Yeah,
that
lead
really
singer.
nailed
the
Yeah.
vocalist. Yeah.
Of course, I think Kelly's favorite is the bass player too. So
Yes. Yes.
They're a lot of fun.
I know a couple of those bass players out there. I feel you on that.
Uh-huh. Okay, do you want to tell us a little background on the song? And Bobby had a close encounter with the subject of What You Won't Do for Love years later?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Katie experienced that one.
I did. I was a child, and what you won't do for love. He wrote after a girl had, he was really interested in this woman, and she broke up with him, and it was still fresh. So when he went back in the studio to write that song, I think there was a little bit of influence about this recent breakup. And we were walking through a supermarket many years later. I was probably about, I don't know, 11, 13 maybe. And we were on the checkout line, and there she was working at the supermarket. We were all
Oh.
like, oh, and she was very kind, and she's like, oh, Bobby. And they kind of, chatted for a bit and remembered each other. And so that was an interesting way to like see a whole experience that this song that's so great came by in a way. I thought it was pretty cool. It was really neat.
That's a great story.
Before we leave the song, one other question I had goes back to the Mitsubishi ad. I only kind of vaguely remembered it, so I pulled it up, and it's about a minute long, and the entire commercial is Bobby singing that song while you watch some lady driving around in this car in the moonlight, in some city under the moonlight, and then the last 3 seconds are there's a new beauty in town, Mitsubishi, and whatever the name of the car is. And I thought that was like, what a cool thing that, sometimes you hear like a 5-second, 10-second clip of a song. No, this was like the commercial was the song,
For sure.
So do you guys remember that? Because that was maybe, what, about 11 years ago?
2014.
2014,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I remember that well.
Yeah. Was he
We were very
excited when that
happy
came
about
out?
that.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
exciting. For
Okay,
sure.
cool.
All right. Let's listen to What You Won't Do for Love.
What you won't do to do for love. You tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in the days from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go.
Okay. Tell us about how the label tried to hide Bobby's identity when promoting the record. How did he feel about that?
Well, when you're young and trying to make it, and the label says this is what we're going to do, you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was kind of unexpected to Bobby. TK was a disco label majority black artist, except
Mm-hmm.
for Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Hmm,
And,
okay.
he did what they told him to do. So I guess they had a photo on the park bench,
Mm-hmm.
and Bobby said he just, kind of sharpied out his face, and it was just the silhouette. And that's what the record label wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, their inroads were with the R&B stations around the country, and I think Bobby was Bobby was fine with it. It was kind of a surprise for everybody when when they were breaking that record. He
Yeah.
tells the story. Um, they go to a radio station, and it was an R&B. I don't remember where it was, but they go in, and the DJ says, "Where's Bobby Caldwell?" And he's like, "Mm, I'm Bobby Caldwell." They made him sing. He did. They didn't believe it, and
I
they
didn't
made
believe
him
it.
sing to
Yeah.
prove it was him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still
Oh,
something that's going on. I don't
That's
know if you
still.
guys have seen the reaction videos on like TikTok, YouTube,
Yes.
mm,
Yes.
and they blow up because people are still like, oh my God, I had no idea, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting too for it to still carry into the younger generation, you know?
right, right.
And
Right.
I think that really spiraled also into Bobby's kind of iconic logo being the stick figure man. We call him the
Hmm.
smooth man. And it's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with the hat and everything. And we use it, he's used it on albums, we use it on a lot of legacy branding. So I think that's truly iconic. It really is.
Yeah.
I have to tell you guys, I don't own a fedora, but I found one recently, and I thought this would be really great. I could wear it on the podcast. You know, that was kind of his signature thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I took a picture of it and I sent it to my daughter, and she's like, "No, Dad, you can't pull it off. Bobby was cool. You're not."
Oh,
Uh,
I think anybody can be cool in a fedora. I
Oh
truly
yeah.
Oh,
do.
but he was the epitome of cool. You know, he was just like, yeah, he was cool. You know, so I before we get off the song, I did want to mention that uh, I found myself my experience the first time I heard the song. I was driving. To be honest with you, I don't remember whether I was driving or a passenger, but I was in the front seat of the car, and the song comes on, and I'm just captivated, and it can't end. But as it starts to, the outro starts to, fade out, I keep turning the volume up because I want to hear every note of the song, you know? And I'll never forget that. I mean, it was like back in the, you know, now you Shazam it and you can get the song right away and you can listen to it. But boy, back in the day, if you heard it on the radio, you don't know when the next time you're going to hear it. It was, you know? So I'm not sure whether they announced, because some radio stations would announce and some wouldn't. But as soon as I found out what that song was, man, I didn't walk. I ran to the record store to get that record, because that was just like, you know, I didn't get the heart-shaped one, though. Okay, I did not get the heart-shaped one. So, Katie, you grew up with a famous dad. Tell us some of the stories about how the fans reacted to him.
Wow. So, yeah, I remember it really setting in when we were in Japan. Coincidentally, we weren't there for a tour. His daughters, I'm his stepdaughter, but I call him, you know, we're all one big
Sure.
happy
Yeah.
family. And he raised me. So, you know, we were over in Japan to visit his stepdaughters. And we're walking through the streets, and people are stopping us left and right. They're like, "Oh, Mr. Caldwell, I'm a huge fan." We walk into a record store. A main record store was that Tower Records. And here's a cardboard cutout of Bobby. Oh, yeah. And it was like, that's when it really sinks in. You're like, whoa, he is a superstar. Another fun story I remember, it's one of my favorite stories to tell, is I was a huge John Mayer fan, still am, growing up. And Ricky Peterson, a great keyboard player, was in John Mayer's band, and he was also Bobby's keyboard player for a period of time. So we got to go backstage. I'm thrilled. I'm fangirling out, in shock. So there's John Mayer talking to Bobby. And this woman comes over, beautiful woman. She's got a hat, sunglasses. We're all kind of like, who is that? And she politely goes into the conversation and she's like, Mr. Caldwell, I just have to introduce myself. I am a huge fan. My name is Alicia Keys. And we're all like, jaws on the ground, you know?
Wow.
So, yeah, it goes to show you no matter where we were, like New York City, Japan, fans stopping him, and celebrities and other iconic, legendary musicians and artists. So it was a great way to grow up. It really, truly was.
And,
A
you know,
lot of memories.
Kelly and I are familiar with some acts that don't seem to cross the ocean. In other words, maybe they were really big in the UK and we never heard them here, or heard them just a little bit here, right? But Bobby was big everywhere, right? I mean, his music seemed to transcend boundaries and be popular in, you know, across the world, right?
Oh, yeah, now more than ever. Like I mentioned TikTok earlier, his songs blew up on TikTok. So it's crazy the reach that it has. And we see a lot of like fans emailing and so much support coming in and people using the song and you know they're all over, so that's great.
Oh, that's neat. Mary, you told us one of your favorite songs by Bobby is Never Take a Chance off the Where Is Love album. Tell us a little bit about that one.
That song always gets me because of the lyrics. It just really resonated with me, very on a personal level. So if you listen to the song, it's really about, you know, playing it safe. But then you meet that person and you let your guard down and you take chances. And I just love it. It was not, didn't get radio play or anything like that, but I love that. I really love that song.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, because we weren't familiar with it either. But after we listened to it, we're like, hey, this is really cool. So let's take a listen to Never Take a Chance.
Never take a chance. I grew up believing if you take a chance, you'll only end up with step in the wrong direction. Risk my heart, fall for someone was out of the question until you came into my life. I never took any chances of love. No, I never would. You said, baby, believe me. And girl, if you leave me, no one will ever see me take chances again. No, no.
Okay, we are captivated by another song you suggested, Back to You, from his Stuck on You album. Now, this is a duet with Marilyn Scott, and we'll see a little bit more of her soon. But do you happen to know who co-wrote the song with Bobby?
Wow, I think it was Marilyn. I'd have to go to BMI.
Okay,
There's a
well,
lot of songs, so
Uh-huh.
yeah, I know.
Uh-huh.
was
And
it
that was,
Marilyn?
Right.
Did you look it up?
it was unfair of me to do that, Mary. But when we were doing our research, we found that the co-writer was Patrice Rushen.
Oh,
And
Patrice Rushen. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. It's
and
great.
Patrice
Yeah,
Rushen is
absolutely.
one of our all-time favorites because we think that she embodies the whole hidden connections because she's been so involved in music for, most people know Forget Me Nots, right,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
her big hit back in the 80s, but she's done so many other things and been involved in so many other projects. And when I saw this, I'm like, no, we have to include this one. So let's take a listen to Back to You.
And I regret it each and every single day. Darling, we had a lot to learn, but our hearts returned, and nothing's in our way. Back to you. I'm going back to you. No, I didn't know what love was, but darling, now I do. And I know it might sound crazy, but I've changed my point of view. Guess I always knew I'd find my way back to you.
Now, by the way, on this album, Stuck on You, we noticed that saxophonist Dave Koz is on the album. And when we were talking earlier, you mentioned a few stories about Dave. So tell us a little bit about Dave.
Well, we could both go on forever
Hours.
about our love for
We
Dave.
love Dave so much. He has become such a huge, important part of our family, our musical family. And he invited us on his cruise. He does cruises every year. And when he invited us first, we had sadly just lost Bobby. And we're like, how do we go to Spain? How do we go, on this? And Dave's like, come on, this is gonna be great. And it truly was life-changing. He was a great friend of Bobby. They played a lot together. They did the BET Soul Train Awards. What an amazing performance. And that was thanks to you. I know you set that up a lot, getting Dave involved and Bobby up there and bringing back the fedora for that. But
So
Dave
let's
has
take
just been great.
let's hit a quick pause on that. And Kelly, are you familiar with that one? I tripped over it recently. But it was the Soul Train. What year was that? Was that like 2012?
It was November 2013 in
2013.
Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an amazing performance. And Dave
Yeah.
Dave didn't play on the original track, but
Right.
he had a solo in that one.
What you won't do, you do for love. You tried everything, you won't give up. And baby, in my world, only you make me do for love what I Every single day, every single night, that's what people say. Doing what seems right, she won't do.
In that audience and going to the sound check and rehearsal was like, I was sitting here and I'm looking at this beautiful girl, and it was Janelle Monáe.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and there's backstage David Foster. It was so cool. Dionne Warwick. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was so much fun.
It was. And
Mm-hmm.
if you flash forward to now, like we still go on Dave's cruises. And the beauty of that is, yeah, you are back with family. It's musicians that played with Bobby for so many years, Mark Antoine, Rick Braun, some of the, the greatest in jazz.
Michael Lincoln,
Michael
Richard
Lincoln.
Elliott.
Yes, and it's such an incredible experience. So Dave Kaz is we're huge fans. We love him lots. In Bobby's band, they actually a lot of them credit Bobby for getting their start,
Yeah.
for launching them. Dave included.
It was Dave, Boney James,
Ooh.
Richard Elliott, Michael
Oh, wow.
Lincoln, Patrick Lamb, and then the guy I found in our hometown, Andrew New, out of Philly.
A lot of great saxophonists.
Yeah, a lot of
the
great
greatest.
ones.
Yeah. So I think, Mary, you mentioned that that Bobby even hired Dave for like Dave's first gig, I think.
Yeah, after college. It was really Dave's first job after college, and he's always been, so kind and appreciative of that. And of course, he is just such an excellent performer. He is a wonderful, kind-hearted soul. Everybody loves him. Everything, I always say this to Dave, everything he does is done with excellence. And it's true. And you can ask all the musicians and fans. He's a lovely, lovely person.
Oh, that's good. Kelly?
Nice. Well, we tripped over the Carry On album, and poring over the liner notes, we noticed some familiar names. Jeff Porcaro on drums, Steve Lukather on guitar, Steve Porcaro on synths. Can you tell us a little bit about these guys and their relationship with Bobby?
Well, yeah, he got to be friends with the Toto guys, the Caro brothers, and Lukather, back in the LA studio scene, back in the, I guess, kind of wild, wild creative days. I know he really admired all those guys.
Mhm.
I never met the Picaro brothers, sadly, but recently we finally met Steve Lukather through Greg Games, who is another wonderful sweetheart, and he's in Toto. So
Yeah.
we saw them in Jersey and finally met Lukather. And Bobby, was always admired him like crazy.
And he was so nice. I walked up to Steve Lukather and I was like, "Hey, I'm Bobby Caldwell's stepdaughter." And he stopped and he was like, gave me a big hug.
Oh,
So kind. He was reminiscing about some memories he had with Bobby. And it was such a beautiful thing. And we really thank Greg Gaines, who was very close with Bobby. In fact, he was one of the last phone conversations Bobby had. So Greg is another one that's near and dear to our hearts. But Yeah, he took us and introduced us to Toto and Steve, and it was, so nice to hear, these great artists just talk about Bobby and their careers, and it's a really beautiful thing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's listen to words.
Oh, lies. Girl, I can't hear enough of those lies. So if love's only meant for the wise, one more life for a fool shouldn't matter much to you, oh no. There's no one who will see. Keep on lying to me. Don't say the words I want to say. The words I won't mind, even though they make the only words. Say the words I want to say. And I won't mind, even though they make the only words.
Okay, speaking of Steve Lukather, we heard that he played on Bobby's song Educated Girl from the soundtrack from the movie Back to School. Now, I call Steve Lukather, my nickname for him is One Take. Do you know if that happened on Educated Girl, if it was one take?
Oh, yeah. Bobby was always amazed. He's like, Luke, they called him Luke. He just came in this studio, plugged like directly in, and whipped out that solo, unplugged, and that was it. And it was great. I love that solo.
Great.
Oh, that's so great. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Mary, tell us a little bit about how you met Bobby. How did that happen? I mean, isn't it the dream to meet and then marry a pop star? By the way, I know she's already married, but for a while I've had my eyes on Saida Garrett. And Saida, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the podcast. But tell us a little bit about how you guys met and ultimately ended up getting married.
Well, I never really swooned over any like musician or actor. I was never,
Yeah.
never like
No,
into that.
I don't remember that growing up.
But
No.
I was a Sinatra fan, a Rat Pack fan, Sammy Dean, loved it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And we would go to Vegas fairly often because I had a lot of family out there. So we'd visit and visit. And one time I said, I've never been to the Strip, never went to a show. So just happened to go to the Desert Inn. It was a Rat Pack show. And I thought, oh, who could play Frank? And this guy came out, and I was really blown away. He was excellent, and I also thought he was pretty cute. And I remember it was like the infancy of the internet, and I had my laptop, and I went back to the house, and I'm like, he's that black guy. I always, th- what you won't do for love. I'm like, oh, wow. I had no clue. But that's where I first saw him. And then on the next trip to Vegas, went back to the show and met him. And then a couple months later, back and met him again. And then in New York, my girlfriend works for Sirius. She's like, I have to interview Bobby Caldwell. And, we were joking around. And anyway, after one of those shows, I knew he was like friendly. And I don't know, like 4 days later, we are at the Farmer Horse Show.
Yeah.
And my phone rang. And I'm thinking, oh, work's calling. But it was Bobby. And I was like shocked. And that was it. We talked for 4 hours while I sat in a cornfield 4 hours, and we never stopped talking. We
Hmm.
talked. We, right?
It was instant. It
If we
was
were
like,
awake, we were talking.
yeah,
Yeah.
constantly on the phone. Then we started flying to Carlsbad, San Diego, where Bobby was living at the time. And I met his daughters, who are now, I call them my sisters, you know, we
Yeah.
truly are. And yeah, it was such a beautiful thing to watch, like their romance. It's like a once in a lifetime romance, something out of a movie. I always say that. And you guys were the greatest. You really were.
Yeah, he was great. He was
That's
a great husband.
that's such a
Oh.
great story. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. At some point, Bobby started writing for others. In fact, we know he wrote "What Kind of Man Would I Be," which appears on Chicago 19. Bobby wrote this with Jason Sheff. Can you tell us anything about the collaboration?
Well, I know Bobby was friendly with some of the guys from Chicago, especially Jason and Bill Champlin.
Mhm.
He and Jason kind of had that same vocal sound, and yeah, they wrote that. I believe they also wrote Niagara Falls,
Mhm.
which was on one of the Chicago albums.
Okay.
Yeah, Jason Sheff, I mean, I know they were tight, they were friends, hung out in the studios of LA,
Mhm.
and with David Foster and all those guys.
Right.
And Jason Sheff has still stayed in touch. He wrote another song with Bobby called Heart of Mine,
Aha.
which was done by Boss Gags.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Jason recently re-recorded the song and just released it maybe 9 months ago.
In fact, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But "What Kind of Man Would I Be" reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 2 on the adult contemporary charts. And as of today, it remains the final top 10 song for the band Chicago. So that's pretty cool that Bobby had a hand in the final top 10 song, for such a wonderful band. We're huge Chicago fans, so that means a lot to us. The band at that point still had a classic lineup without Peter Cetera, who we'll talk about next. But it included founding members Robert Lamb, Lee Loughnane, Walt Pearzader, Jimmy Pankow, and Danny Serafin. Once the album was released, the band let go of Serafin and hired It's the Groove favorite Tristan Bowden, who would man the kit for the next 27 years. And by the way, if you haven't listened to our episode on Tristan Bowden, you're going to love it. So check that out. So let's listen to "What Kind of Man Would I Be?"
Times when it was pointless for me to try, I was more than a desperate man. What seemed like forever was gone with one touch of your hand. Oh, girl. If I could count all the sleepless nights when you were there for me,
Okay, Kelly.
All right. Now, in the process of writing for Chicago, he wrote a track which would help launch Peter Cetera's solo career. Next Time I Fall reached #1 on the pop and adult contemporary charts and was nominated for a Grammy. On Cetera's debut album, Post Chicago, it was the only song he didn't write. Do you know anything about Next Time I Fall?
Oh yeah, Bobby had he had co-writers, but it was written with Chicago in mind. And Bobby had a cassette of the demo, and he was in the studio in LA where, the Chicago guys were. And Peter was there. And he was leaving the studio, and he said to Bobby, "What's that?" And Bobby's like, "Oh, yeah, it's a demo. And I just did." He's like, "Can I have it?" Bobby's like, "Yeah." And it was Next Time I Fall, which was a really great handoff to Peter
Mm,
Cetera
yes.
and Amy Grant.
Hmm.
And I believe Bobby told a story where before that was recorded, Amy Grant wanted to meet Bobby.
Hmm.
So he met Amy and they recorded the song and it was a big success.
We heard a slightly different variation on that story because before that, Amy was only really known for contemporary Christian music. And she was known for being very religious. So she insisted on vetting the songwriters. So apparently Bobby had to be on his good behavior that day.
Well, you are correct. I kind of sugar-coated that story. But that's what Bobby said too.
We're
Yeah.
sure that Bobby was always good, but I mean, it does.
Hmm.
It's an interesting little vignette because it lets you know. I mean, I know that I'm sure Peter Cetera wanted it to be successful, and I know Bobby did too. So, yeah, that's one of our favorites. So let's listen to Next Time I Fall.
Well, I wonder if it's wise to hold you like I've wanted to before. Tonight, ooh, I was thinking that you might be the one who breathes life in this heart of mine. Next time I fall in love, I'll know better what to do. Next time I fall in love, ooh, the next time I fall in love, the next time I fall in love, it will be with you. Next time I'm
Okay, Mary, you mentioned this a couple of minutes ago, but it's a great track recorded by Boss Skaggs, but written by Bobby called Heart of Mine. And this is kind of a comeback song because Boz had about an 8-year hiatus. He was so huge in the late 70s, but then he hadn't done anything pretty much in the 80s until I believe it was 1988. But Heart of Mine reached #3 on the adult contemporary chart. So it was a huge comeback for for Bobby. And we're going to listen to Bobby's version of that, which was released after Boz. And the reason we're going to listen to it is because it's got a terrific alto solo by Dave Koz. So let's listen to Heart of Mine.
plays cool games. I can't believe she's found another to love her. Does she miss me? Sometimes I just can't help but wonder if I could stop the hands of time, then I
Now, we recently tripped over the song Show Me Your Devotion, which was originally written as an instrumental piece by drummer Ricky Lawson. And then Bobby was asked to write the lyrics to it. He recorded this as a duet with Marilyn Scott, who's also credited on the lyrics. Do you know anything about Show Me Your Devotion?
Yeah, I remember Bobby telling me that Ricky had written the song. Um, and he asked about, can I put some lyrics on there and cut the track, which he did. And I did have the pleasure of meeting and eating with Ricky, who, I mean, his resume is really incredible, and what a lovely guy. And yeah, we all had dinner in Hawaii for an event with a bunch of artists, Mindy A. Bear, Sheila E., and
Oh,
Ricky was there. And
you,
yeah, and it must have been within a month after that Hawaii event that Ricky passed away. And
well, I'm
everybody
glad you
loved
got to
him.
meet him, and this
Musicians,
is a little bit of
you know.
a coming attractions. But I would love to do an episode on Ricky because, again, I think he's one of those hidden connections that his name just keeps popping up over and over again. And you'll hear it again briefly when we talk a little bit about Greg Phillinganes in an upcoming episode. But yes, Ricky had some, like you said, was just a wonderful person and did so much. So let's listen to Show Me Your Devotion.
Here we are, all our cards on the table. Now it comes down to what we feel in our hearts. I know we must stand by each other. Now is the time, if you're still my lover, show me your devotion. Just a measure of emotion. Show me your devotion. There's a feeling there, I know that you love me.
All those dreams that we both shared together, year after year, we pushed to make our love the one. I see two hearts that need mending. I still believe in those happy endings.
Show me your devotion. Just a measure of emotion. Show me your devotion.
There's a feeling there, I know that you love me.
The last track we'll feature is Bobby's cover of the song Until You Come Back to Me, originally recorded by Aretha and written by Morris Broadnax, Clarence Paul, and Stevie Wonder. It's the Groove fans may recall we featured this several months ago in our episode on producer Aretha Martin. But the Bobby Caldwell cover features two of our favorite session musicians, drummer J.R. Robinson and keyboardist Greg Phillinganes. And before we listen to the song, Mary, I think you have a story or two about Greg.
Oh, Greg. Well, I don't think Greg wants to ever get in a car with me when I'm driving. Which
did pick him up for dinner before one of the shows with Toto, and she
He
was.
complimented my driving skills.
It was a compliment. It was, but he is so sweet. To
Yeah, he out. We go out to Los Angeles from time to see Bobby, my sister-in-law, Lisa, and her son is a wonderful musician. He plays everything, especially keyboards. His name's Jason Goldstein. So we were having a little jam session at the house, to remember Bobby. And Bobby, a lot of his band members showed up. And I told Greg, I'm like, oh, we're having this like jam session. And he's not far from Lisa's house. And he came over.
He comes over and he sits, he obviously introduces himself and he's chit-chatting with everybody and being so kind. And then I remember he just sits down at the piano and starts busting out with From the Beginning, and Coming Down from Love is the name of the song. And all of Bobby's bandmates, his nephew Jason, everybody just jumps in and they start jamming, and it goes on for over an hour.
Oh,
And it was a compilation that Greg just off the cuff put together. That was wonderful. I mean, we were all in tears. So Greg is a special guy, and he has been so sweet to us. And him and Bobby were so tight.
Bobby loves
Yeah,
him.
and so do we. We came to love him, and it's like, yeah, we now have. He's like a part of that musical family I kept talking about with Dave Koz, and Greg's one of the greatest.
so Greg, if you're listening to this, we'd love to have you on the podcast. Mary tells you we have zero shot, but we're going to at least ask.
I mean,
He's shy.
he can be a little shy with things, but he's
Not on
Okay,
stage,
so can
though.
Kelly,
on stage.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, anyway, let's conclude. Let's listen to Until You Come Back to Me.
No, you don't call anymore. I sit and wait in vain. I guess I'll rap on your door, tap on your window pane, I wanna tell you, baby, the changes I've been going through. Missing you till you come back. That's all I'm gonna do. Why did you have to decide that you had to set me free, baby? I'm gonna swallow my pride. I'm begging you, please see me. I'm gonna wait on your steps to prove that my love is true. That's what I'm gonna do till you come back to me. That's all I'm gonna do. Oh, baby, missing you is like living in a world of misery. But there must be a way to change your view and make it the way it used to be.
So I want to conclude by asking Mary and Katie about your current and upcoming and future plans.
There is so much that's upcoming. Soon, we're launching a social media campaign that's going to feature a lot of kind of the topics we touched about in this podcast, but a lot of like facts about Bobby's stories, really going in depth and talking all about how his legacy needs to live on, and a lot about up and coming artists who have been inspired by Bobby. So there's a lot going on in that department. We also have redone BobbyCaldwell.com, where you can go to and find his biography, merchandise, so much information about him. I wish I could say we had tour dates because, I truly miss seeing his shows and being with the band and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But we're really doing everything to keep it alive. And, you know, I know Bobby's looking down at us now, and we're doing everything for him. So there's a lot to come. Right, Mom? I
Oh,
don't know if you
yeah.
want to add to that, but
Well, we want covers.
we do.
We want covers. I always have felt that there are quite a few songs in Bobby's catalog that are fabulous songs.
So many songs. It's unbelievable once you go through it. And something we used to do sitting around the kitchen table, we have a big TV in our kitchen, which is great. We would pull up YouTubes of covers and Bobby would watch them. He really would. And he'd be like, oh, reach out to, you know, this person. They did a great cover. Elise Tro did a mashup between What You Won't Do and the Foo Fighters. So
Okay.
we're really trying to take all of that and things that we know Bobby would love and spread that all over the world and just keep it all going. That's the name of the game.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
please.
one of Bobby's great loves was the American Songbook. And he released, one, two, three, four albums. Four albums of standards. And he even wrote 5 songs where he was trying to like fit into that genre.
Right.
And I remember years ago, before I met Bobby, listening to a song called April Moon. And I went to my mother, who was, you know, a 40s girl, and I'm like, Ma, do you know this song? She's like, no, I never heard this song. And at the time, I didn't look at liner notes, but it was written by Bobby. So
Wow.
we have taken a jazz singer under our wing.
We have.
He's a great singer.
He's such a crooner. He's 30 years old. He's fantastic. So he's been covering some of Bobby's standards.
Oh, great.
At our parties, you're going to see that on Instagram. We're rolling that out. And he's great. His name is Zach Alexander. And he's, you know, really doing justice to these wonderful standards that Bobby wrote. And it's funny, when I used to listen to them all the time, it wasn't until I was older that I'm like, wait, Frank Sinatra, these aren't Frank Sinatra songs. Like, these aren't covers. Like, Bobby wrote these.
Wow.
So they're really wonderful. If you're into anything from the American Songbook, these songs are truly awesome.
Yeah. That's wonderful. We kind of have a commonality because I think that was probably the music Bobby grew up listening to as a kid, right?
It was, yeah.
And I heard a lot of that because my dad was of that era, and so that was the stuff. You know, Kelly listened to Michael Jackson and
Yeah.
Shaka Khan at home. I listened to the big band stuff. So that was just because of what our parents were and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's interesting. And like I said, Bobby kind of did we didn't spend a whole lot of time on that in the program today, but he went from, the R&B and soul and all that. And then later in his career, he really kind of returned to his roots with the Great American Songbook. So kind of cool story there. So great.
And then he did Cool Uncle with Jack Splash,
Sure.
who's a hip hop guy.
With
Oh,
CeeLo
wow.
and Mary
Yeah.
Hawthorne.
Yeah.
And yes,
That was
it was
fun.
funky. It
That
was really
was
funky.
fun.
That's wild. Huh. Interesting.
Oh yeah. I had figured out, because I love that project, because at the time Jack Splash's studio was in Miami. So we'd fly to Miami. Jack would pick up Bobby, go to the studio, and I kind of did my emails, but then went to the beach. It was great. And I remember figuring out that they'd go in that studio for like 15, 20 hours straight.
Oh my
And
God.
they got together 12 times. And during that time, the song would go from nothing, no song, to written and recorded. So in 12 working days, they did that Cool
Yeah.
Uncle album.
Wow.
Amazing.
And I got to go to the beach.
Well, guys, keep us posted on, the developments. We'll get the information out to our
Hmm.
listeners, and we'd love to hear more about, what's going on and how you're honoring his legacy. We really appreciate both of you being our guests on It's the Groove. The time flew by, and we had so much fun. Hopefully, we'll be able to do something like this again.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Thank you so much for having us too. We
Yes,
sincerely
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bobby Caldwell was a modern day musical renaissance man. Not only was he a one man band, he wrote some unforgettable songs and produced much of his own music. Bobby was also a chameleon, performing in wide variety of genres including blue-eyed soul, R&B, pop, smooth jazz, funk, and in his later years he reignited lifelong passion with the Great American Songbook. Bobby was a talented entertainer and portrayed Frank Sinatra in the Las Vegas musical The Rat Pack is Back. Along the way, he made his audiences smile and garnered tremendous respect and love from his colleagues in the industry. While he's been gone for 2.5 years, his music and memories live on in our hearts. We love you, Bobby. Thank you, guys.
So, as always, thanks for listening. We hope you share this podcast with other folks that would like to hear it. Send us your comments. Make sure to click the like button. And remember, it's not the beat, it's the groove. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.